Me on the Jim Bohannon Show. I'm Walter M. Sterling, and coming up in just seconds, you and I are going to talk to David Kim. Now, David Kim went to Harvard, but more importantly, he has grown into the C2 education of today with more than 180 centers nationwide to help your kids and mine to get into college. More information about how you can get into college, your kids can get into college, your grandkids can get into college, all this and you on the Jim Bohannon Show with Walter Sterling. This is Westwood One. All right, good evening. I'm Walter M. Sterling for the legendary Jim Bohannon. What an honor to be guest starring for Jim. I want to get your kid into college. I want to get your grandkid into college, and David Kim is going to help us do that. Now, David Kim has two things on his resume that blow me away because I'm a mental midget. You studied economics, David. Okay, no one understands economics. My 14-year-old said, next year they want me to take economics. What is that? I have no idea. And I took economics, and I have no idea. And you went to Harvard. Now, I'll tell you, the only intelligent thing my father gave me as advice in the process of going into college. He said, I don't care where you apply or where you get in, but you have to apply to Harvard because it's the only chance you have. You're not going to get another chance to get into Harvard, so apply. So I did apply for it. And, of course, I didn't get in. I went to Syracuse, which is a rich kid's fallback school. But Harvard, thank God I did, because I'd always wondered the rest of my life if I could have gotten in. Now, how smart are you, David Kim, that you got into Harvard?
Well, if you were to ask my mom or wife, they say not very smart. But I did apply myself and took the right classes, had some great teachers, had some great advisors, and, with a lot of luck, was able to get in with some good test scores and a good resume.
Well, the thing that always surprised me, whenever I'd look at the syllabus or the course descriptions at Harvard, they were no different than at Syracuse. I'd look at those classes and say, I could do those, I could do that. But, of course, the trick is getting in. What advice do you have for parents who want their kids to go to an Ivy League school?
Yeah, I mean, these days, it seems like, it takes an act of God to get into some of these schools with the admissions rates, the way they've been trending. I mean, when I went, it was in somewhere between 15 and 20% at Harvard, and now it's, less than 6%. And so, when they talk about, students, having a lot of anxiety and a lot of stress about, Ivy League admissions, it's rightfully so because these kids are, taking some of the hardest classes at their schools, a lot of the AP classes. They're needing to get, exemplary grade, and they also have to round it out with a good bevy of activities that make them really stand out. Schools are looking to shape their campuses. They're looking for specific things that they want to see at the schools so that there's a lot of, diversity and kind of a well-rounded experience that a student might have.
Now, let me ask you this, David Kim. You run an organization called C2 Education. What is C2 Education, and how the heck did you grow it to 180 centers worldwide? Wow.
Yeah, so I actually heard last week your daughter had aspiration to get into NYU, which I think is fantastic. And even at schools like that, their admissions rates have been plummeting, and so what we do at C2 is, we look at a student on a case-by-case basis. We look at where they're at, and we game plan as to, what's the best route to get, him or her into that particular college. And so C2 really focuses on a lot of college counseling with parents and students. And then we talk about, how do we help you? So we can help you with test scores. We can help you with
So you
tutoring.
come up with a whole, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you come up with a whole game plan for the kid. You get a business plan. You hand them and say, do this, and your odds are really good, right?
Absolutely, because by the time a student is a junior, they're pretty much fully baked into where they're going to get into school. So to be able to change those outcomes is really being able to talk to students in 8th, 9th, and 10th grade so that they are on the right path.
What are the biggest mistakes parents make when they try to, quote, help their kids get into college? You must see consistent patterns of stupid parents.
Well, I wouldn't say there's any stupid parents. I think every parent wants, the best for their kid, and always wants to, give, the advice and the encouragement for their kids to, shoot big. But I think at the end of the day, finding out what the right fit is for students is very important. So, the right fit is going to be what makes that student happy, what's going to really allow that student to blossom and continue to grow and mature into adulthood at that particular four-year institution. And so, looking at a wide swath of schools and taking into account a lot of the different factors and being open-minded, I think, is something that parents need to do more of. I think that's A, and I think B. Starting early. I mean, right now, getting into some of those very competitive schools have gotten to be so ridiculous that a parent and a student really need to look at whether or not that's the right choice that they want to embark on. Just because there's so much pressure that's being asked upon those students that are looking to go to those types of schools like the Ivy Leagues.
Well, I think it's fascinating that C2 Education, that's the name of your company, will put together a business plan, a strategy to get your kid where it's best for them. What's the name of your website?
Yeah, it's C2, letter C, number 2, educate, EDUCATE.com.
C2educate.com. That's terrific. David Kim, you're a great guest. Thank you so much for being on.
Appreciate it, Walter.
The Jim Bohannon Show with Walter M. Sterling.